discussion on power antenna motors today. If you're fortunate enough where yours actually works and hasn't quit on you in the down position, if your antenna did quit on you in the down position, there's a good chance you don't have any radio stations at all. And you're listening to Billy Joel over and over on cassette. Why should I worry? Why should I care? Anyway, so today I'm going to discuss about maintenance on these particular units so that, you know, your power antenna will stay functional for as long as possible. I'm sure a lot of you have had bad experiences with these power antenna units. Now, a little bit of maintenance on it, it'll last. Well, I'm not going to say it's going to last for a long time. You eventually are going to have issues with it, but here's some techniques to try and keep it upkeep. Okay, so the best thing to keep your power antenna as functional for as long as possible is to use dry graphite, or even spray graphite is even acceptable. A lot of people use oil, engine oil. No, that's a big no-no. The problem with oil is that if you drive down a gravel road, or let's say you drive through a construction zone, even in the summertime you're driving down the highway, you're going to have dust. The problem with this is that the dust will be attracted to the mast, and it'll stick to the mast. And then every time you get out of the car and shut your radio off, or turn off your ignition key, and your power antenna goes down, what this is doing is getting clogged inside the spool. And this will potentially screw up your power antenna. You have to remember, these devices are very sensitive. If you look at the device funny, it'll decide to up and quit on you. I've had that happen to me. That's why the power antenna in my 83 Buick and my 88 Chevy, they don't work. They are very sensitive. A lot of people also say that keeping them clean is a great way to keep them, prolong the life of the power antenna mast. Yeah, it will. It's not necessarily the case. It does need a bit of a lubricant from time to time. Dry graphite is usually the best thing to use, and not engine oil. Just stay away from lubricants like that, anything like that, or any kind of oil. I've seen actually people use tranny fluid on the mast, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Your mast isn't going to be working in a few days, literally. And then a few days later, yeah, the guy actually told me that his mast quit working. Well, I wonder why. So, well, let's go take a look at it. There's the unit there. Very straightforward. Now, I've already put a small film of graphite on here. You can't really notice it. But all you have to do is take some powdered graphite, or even some spray graphite. Not too much, and you want to make sure that you don't have too much excess. Because what could potentially happen here is when your mast goes down, it could end up potentially blocking the orifices right down in here and actually get trapped inside the spool or inside the motor housing itself, and it could potentially clog up the internal components of the unit and cause it to malfunction or eventually fail altogether. So you want to make sure if you have too much excess, you want to wipe that off the mast. So all you have to do is put a light film and just rub it up and down the mast. Let's hope nobody just skipped over to this portion of the video. You people have sick minds. Smarten up. Anyway, and that's all you have to do. And then run the mast up and down by simply turning on and off the radio, or turning the key on and off, whichever, and it'll be fine. My recommendation is at least once a month. And if you're really picky about it, usually during the wintertime, I unplug the unit and leave it up. Because the problem is with these units is that they freeze, and they freeze very periodically. If they freeze, they'll keep on trying to hum and try and whir to try and get the mast to go up. And this will cause premature failure of the unit. So I usually disconnect power to the unit in the winter months so that there's no problems. And in the springtime, plug it back in again. Everything works. A little bit of information for you. So remember, anything with lubricants regarding your power antenna mast, let's say for example your oil, for example, engine oil, lithium grease, I personally do not recommend using those products on your power antenna mast. It's not good for it. What you could potentially do is gum up your power antenna mast, and it could prematurely fail And sometimes you'll get lucky if your power antenna mast does quit on you. It might quit while it's in the up position, or it might quit while it's totally all the way down. And then you're going to be hearing a lot of this. Yeah, not cool, right? So, like I say, I personally use graphite, either in a dry graphite or the spray graphite. You can get it at your auto parts store for dirt cheap. It's what, like $2, $2-3, right? But I personally do recommend using that, not oil, not anything petroleum based whatsoever. Use graphite on it. I do, and my power antenna masts do work. There's not much else I can say about it. I've been getting questions about it for the last 3 weeks during the Christmas holidays, and there's about 3 or 4 of you that have been asking me what I do to keep my power antennas functioning. There really isn't anything you can do. You can do this type of maintenance to them. I do it once a month to my power antenna masts, but like I say, I have 2 vehicles here and they don't work. Okay, I managed to get them in the up position, but like I say, once they're done, they're done. You're gonna have to replace them. There's no user serviceable parts inside, let's say. You know, you gotta remember, power antenna masts, it's like a power window motor, okay? It's sooner or later, it might die on you. It might last the entire life of your vehicle, or it might not. It might quit on you within 3 months of you buying your new car, or your used car, okay? It's a part that wears out, and there's nothing you can do. And if it does wear out, well, then you got Billy Joel on cassette. And if you're lucky enough, you got Billy Idol on cassette. I'm not so lucky. We'll see us. Take care of yourselves. We'll catch you right back here on the weekend, fellas.